September 18th at Kathy and Cecil Alexander's house. Anybody's invited. I've got cards here, so need to RSVP, and we're looking to raise about $20,000 for that party. No questions?
What's it called, Mark?
It's called the Peer Power Foundation. The official name, it's a nonprofit with a life or nonprofit status from the federal government. It's Heber Springs Peer Tutoring Inc. So it'll be a real benefit to Heber Springs. That's why we do it.
Any other questions?
Thank you again very much for your.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go over these other three requests that I have for this quarter. Now everyone, and every week I try to update you, and I know that at last look we had donated about $6,000 back to the community, and I know we should start seeing those pictures in the paper, and we're about to get that website updated for the Angler Expo, and that's going to be one of the driving points that all the proceeds from the Angler Expo go back into the community. So that's our goal for that. So the request I have right now, I have one from Opal's House, which I guess it's a ministry, and they're a nonprofit homeless shelter for mothers with children. They provide a place for families to get back on their feet from crisis situations and encourage them to be self-sufficient apart from government assistance as much as possible. Funding can go towards monthly costs or be directed towards fundraising assistance. I don't have a dollar amount that they requested, and I'm going to have to do a follow-up. It looks like they have in the past received about $10,000, $5,000 from individuals, $5,000 from churches in the community. So are there any questions about that or discussion about Opal's House? Anyone familiar with that?
It's shown. It is a place that when families have gone through a crisis, that they can help them get back on their feet. It's different from the place that women go when they're abused. This is for families that can include the entire family, including the husband, to help them get back on their feet when they faced a crisis. Maybe their house is burned and they've lost everything, or maybe the husband and wife are out of jobs for length of time, and they've exhausted all of the other things that they can do, and that's what they do. They help them get back on their feet after they've gone through a crisis.
Okay. Very good. All right. Next request is from the Call of Arkansas, and is everyone familiar with Call and what it stands for? It's gave me. It's foster care, and they're very involved. And I know this personally, that before I went to Iraq last time, 7 years ago, we were looking at being foster parents, and there was only 2 families in the entire county at that time, and now I believe they're up to around 30.
And it's Children of Arkansas Love for a Lifetime.
Okay.
That's what it stands for.
Very good. You just helped me tremendously.
Well, she's running for mayor.
But basically, the mission of Call is to recruit, train, and support mobilizing Christian families to foster and adopt children from Arkansas foster care. There are 50 to 60 children entering foster care annually. When a child comes into foster care, they come with nothing but the clothes on their back. The volunteer or the foster parent then goes and spends approximately $100 on each child just for the essential needs for a few weeks. The funds from the Rotary Club would be used for that purpose, to provide basic needs for the children entering foster care and to provide support for our foster families. We're respectfully requesting $1,000 from the Rotary Club of Cleveland County to provide our children and families with their basic needs. So, any questions or discussion about that request? None? All right. And the last request we'll discuss is for the Heber Springs Swim Club. They are requesting $549 to purchase a new digital pool clock for swim practices. The current clock is broken and cannot be repaired. These clocks help the swimmers to perform interval sets during their swim workouts and allows them to track their swim progress. So, as you can see, we're getting a wide array of requests, and you know what we've hit the food pantries across the county, Greers Ferry, Concord, the child care aware out of Batesville, which is for all Cleveland County, providing curriculum for those child care centers, which we still need to present the check to them. And then you see that the Boy Scouts and then these follow-up requests that we're receiving, we're really hitting all areas, tutoring, and which is what we're all about. We're trying to make sure that we spread it out and don't just concentrate in one area.
Just a real quick question, did we ever get a formal request from the library?
We did get a formal request from the library, however, Bruce stood up and he's actually going to present the check in the Rotary
I
Club.
can see no sold out in Atlantic City.
He's going to make the donation in honor of his brother, I believe.
Okay.
All right, any questions about those requests? All right, the procedures, follow-up to that is the board will meet and do a follow-up discussion. We like to take all those requests to the club as a whole, and then the board will make the ultimate decision as far as how much we're going to fund and what we're going to fund. So, any other questions? None?
Are you going to do some of the ones that were there before? Are you adding those today?
No, there's two of them that I know which ones you're talking about that have already been approved and we have not presented the check yet. And so I've got those separated. All right, any other questions, comments? Nothing? If not, I'll turn it over to Jack for presentation of the board.
You'll notice I'm wearing orange today.
Oh, please.
My team did win. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I have the honor of introducing Ed Brundick. He is the president of Argent Financial Group in Memphis. He is he's a lawyer. He's a certified financial planner. He is a certified investment management advisor. He is the father of my 3 grandchildren, Louis, Annie, and Mary Olivia. The one thing I can say about Ed is, as a stockbroker for 25 years, I wish I had had him around, because he is one of the best investment stock analysts I have ever heard. So, having said that, I'll pass those out.
Thank you.
You can go.
Well, I'm really impressed with your attendance today. Thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. I gave out a handout today, which I don't normally do, but I just want to move as quickly as I can because I know you all have other things to do, like run for mayor and take care of your clients and your businesses. So I'm going to move pretty quickly. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I put this up here. It's the same thing that's in front of you, just in case you really want to look at it. I'm from Memphis, and what Jack failed to mention is really my real claim to fame is that I'm Papa Bear's son-in-law, which sort of gives me cult status with all the kids in Memphis. When Jack's in town, that's exactly how I introduce myself. It gets me the most yardage. Argent is a group. One of the gentlemen here at the beginning asked me, where did the name Argent come from? And my response is, and I'm sorry to have my back to y'all. My response is basically, there's so many people in this business that all the other good names were taken. So I don't really know where Argent came from, but it's a great company based out of Ruston, Louisiana, and we're first and foremost a trust company, but we're also a wealth management company. So here's the audience participation part. Who could tell me traditionally what the purpose of a trust was, or why most people utilize the trust? Anybody got an idea?
Taxes.
Avoid taxes. That's exactly right. People don't use it for that anymore. Very rarely do. And the reason is because the estate tax and gift tax exemption is now 5.124 million per person, per spouse, with portability, which means if your spouse dies and hasn't used it, they can still use it. So now you have to have an estate of like $11 million before you would need to utilize a trust to avoid estate and gift taxes. And so really traditionally it's always been about tax avoidance. Anybody know why people use trusts these days?
Avoid probate.
To some degree, that's exactly right. Yeah, they want to stay out of probate, but sorry?
Divorces.
To some degree, that's right. The number one reason that people use trust these days are to be able to control their assets from the grave. You know, they worked hard to earn everything that they have, and they don't want to just turn it over because they died. And so a lot of people use trust to be able to control those assets, sometimes for multiple generations. I only bring that up just to sort of provoke a little fun. So my dad was one of the guys who went through significant estate and trust planning prior to the gift and estate tax moving up. Back when it was $1 million, there was a lot more people that needed to set up trust to protect their assets and to avoid the taxes. I guess one of the reasons I ended up in this business was because after he went through all of this lengthy process, which requires attorneys and CPAs and estate planners, and there's lots of expense to incur there, the performance of the trust was miserable. And there's this sort of common thought that when you put money in trust, you just sort of forget about it. Well, we took care of that. It's over here. We don't need to